So this may be the worst rangefinder I will ever review on this channel, but I absolutely recommend it. Here's what I mean. Over the years, I have had a difficult relationship with shot scope products. There are a lot of people on YouTube, a lot of blogs out there that sing its praises. They talk about how shot scope is the best value, the greatest products, everything is great, and I know there are a ton of users out there that are happy with the products. But the reality is my job is to be completely objective with how I review, and I do the very best that I can at that. And ShotScope is a value product. They're trying to be a less expensive product than many competitors. And because of that, often I've found the products don't necessarily stack up against some of the competing products out there. And that brings us to this, the ShotScope Pro L2, which is their latest rangefinder, and it's okay. It's fine. And in today's video, I'm gonna walk through exactly what makes it okay and fine, but more importantly, I'm gonna talk about why I still wholeheartedly recommend it, and I think a bunch of you are going to go out and get it. So if that sounds good to you, if you were in the market for a cheap budget rangefinder and you're wanting to know if the L2 is worth picking up, keep watching. Today's video is for you. Also, ShotScope, I'm sorry. I really do love you guys. You're great. I just gotta be honest about the products, and a lot of people I've found are not telling the full story with some of them and are just trying to get affiliate sales, and so I'm going to be completely honest about my experience with some of the products. So I hope you understand that, please. Okay, first up, let's talk first impressions and packaging of the Pro L2, and similar to other ShotScope products, it's no frills. There's nothing overly exciting about it, there's nothing super high quality about it, and I'm totally okay with it. I've talked in the past about how I think that presentation and packaging can make a big difference on first impressions, but ShotScope is trying to be the value product. They're trying to create a less expensive product, so they're not spending any extra money on packaging, presentation, all of those things. So the fact that the box and everything is no frills, is not exciting, is not overly nice, I'm totally fine with that. I will say though, I was pleasantly surprised when I opened up the box. So it comes with kind of a standard canvas rangefinder case, but considering the price point of $150, there are products out there that don't come with cases. So the fact it has one is nice. And then even further, when you take the product out, I actually really like the design of the Pro L2. It's very minimal, it's very ergonomic, it's a good size, it's not too small, it's not too big, it's not too heavy. It's definitely plastic construction, so it doesn't feel like a super robust, super high-end, super durable rangefinder, but it feels very nice. And they've got some nice texturing on the side here, which helps with grip, which I think is really cool. Compared to the previous generation Pro L1, which had a very cheap-looking slope switch, I like the way they designed the logo into the slope switch, so you can just turn that off and on to turn slope off and on. Very nice design. And the fact there's just one button up top. So you don't have to worry about fumbling through menus or anything like that. For better or worse, there is one button. So you hit to turn it on, you hit it again to range, and if you want to change from yards to meters, you hold it for 5 seconds, away you go. It's pretty much what it can do. So if I have all these nice things to say about the design and how it feels and the value at $150, then why would I say it's likely the worst rangefinder I will ever review on this channel? Because honestly, you may have noticed, I don't waste my time reviewing products I don't like. I try and focus on, hey, here are the positive products I recommend, rather than here are the negative ones. I'd rather tell you what's good as opposed to what's bad. And in my experience, I have yet to find one of those that's actually good enough to recommend. And so that's why you haven't seen me do them on this channel. I have yet to review any rangefinder under $150. And so the reason that I say it's the worst is because most of the stuff I'm reviewing is 2, 3, even 4 times the price of this. So let's keep all of that in mind with what I'm saying here. Yes, the title might have been a little bit clickbait, but it's also kind of true. So jumping in, let's talk about performance and why it's okay. So first off, the optics are 6x. I always like 7x magnification, but that is a more expensive product. I would not expect to find 7x magnification. And overall, the optics are pretty good. For $150, it looks pretty good, and I was very impressed with the optics. Along with decent optics, I like the fact that the display is not super cluttered. One thing that is odd about it is there's a scan text in the top, and one of the things you find with a lot of less expensive rangefinders is people go to a factory in China, they all basically have a similar model, and some are for hunting, some are from golf, and so sometimes modes that aren't necessary get carried over. I'm not sure if that's what's going on here, but there is no scan function as far as I can tell. It says scan, but when you hold it down and you try and use it like a scan function on a rangefinder, it doesn't work. So I'm not totally sure why that scan thing is there. It's not a huge deal. It doesn't really have any effect because overall the screen isn't super cluttered, but it was just a little bit of an odd inclusion. There are two big things that I struggle with this. It's not the optics, it's not the build quality, it's not the usability of it. The first one is speed. I've seen some reviews out there that say this is just as fast as rangefinders that cost 3 or 4 times as much, and honestly, it's not. I mean, it's not slow. These days, there really aren't many rangefinders that are slow, but it's not super fast. It takes a second to get the reading, and I am actually totally okay with that. If it takes a second longer or it takes just a little bit longer than more expensive products, no problem. That's cool. The problem is when it takes a little bit longer and it's also not super accurate. The problem I have found with this specific device is I have trouble locking onto the flag. This is especially true if you're playing golf at a course that doesn't have pin reflectors built into the pins for laser rangefinders. When I've played a course that has those, I would say 85% of the time, I'm able to get the distances. Like, hit it a couple times, it might dance a little bit, but generally speaking, pretty accurate. If it doesn't have those, then at least 50% of the time, if not more, I have trouble getting it to lock on. So then you're doing that dance where you're trying to say, okay, is it this? Is this? It's bouncing around. I'm getting distances anywhere from 50 yards more to 40 yards less. And then when I think I've got it dialed in, it might still be bouncing around from like 140 to 143 to 142. So it's that inconsistency that makes this a little bit of a struggle. And so the speed on its own, not that big of a deal. The dancing around and not locking into the flag, if that was on its own, but it was like lightning fast, instant, maybe not that big of a deal. But when you put those two things together, it can take a little bit longer to get a number that I feel is accurate. And the one thing you want your rangefinder to do is not get in your way. You want to pull it up, open, get your distance, and go. And with this, I found myself often having to take, 10, 15 seconds of kind of ranging, trying, making sure everything's right, dancing back and forth, and most of the time, I end up with a number that I'm happy with. Most of the number, I'm like, yep, this is good. I have yet to get an inaccurate number that has affected my round in any meaningful way. But the process of getting there, it's not super enjoyable. It's not super fun. It's not like using some of the more expensive rangefinders where the optics are super clear, everything's super fast, and you really feel 98% of the time like you are getting the exact correct number. You're not necessarily getting that experience here. But let's back up a second. It's $150. It's $50 cheaper than any other rangefinder I recommend. It has built-in slope capabilities, so it will adjust based on elevation and if the pin is above or below you. It has a built-in magnet, so you can put it to your golf cart and forget it. And that's one thing that's kind of nice about this. If you lose it at $150, well, that's a lot better than losing a $400 Bushnell or a $600 Bushnell. You can just go buy another one and not feel too bad about it. But now, here's the kicker, and here is why I wholeheartedly recommend this product. So when I first reviewed it, I was thinking it was the same price as their previous generation Pro L1, which was $199. That product was not as good as this, and it was $50 more. So I was ready to not recommend this product at all. Then I saw it was $149, and I was like, you know what? For $150, this has worked better than any rangefinder I have seen in that price. Like I said, it's not perfect. It dances around a little bit, but for the most part, I'm able to get accurate numbers with it. $150, if you are on a strict budget, I can recommend that. But to take it a step further, if you use the coupon code that is listed below, it will knock another 15% off this, which brings the price to $127.49. And for $127.49, this is a fantastic value. You get the build quality, you get the nice optics, you get the case, and you get a device that's, not the fastest, not the most accurate, but with a little bit of work, you're going to get an accurate number. And again, if you're on a budget, you're not going to find anything else that I think works better at that price point. So there's a good chance after seeing this, ShotScope's gonna hate me and that coupon code may not work, but I always try and be honest with you and upfront, and so that's what I did here. This is not the best rangefinder you will ever use, but it may be the best rangefinder you ever use for $127. So if you have a little bit more of a budget, I would recommend spending, $200, $250, creep up a little bit to get something that's just gonna be a little bit more reliable. But if you are on a strict budget and you're like, you know what, 150 is the max, I can't go above that, then I think you're going to have a much much better bet with this than you will with some random company nobody's ever heard of on Amazon. I know ShotScope cares about their customers, they care about your success, and so that's also one of the benefits is if you go with them, you're gonna have a better customer service experience than random brand off Amazon that nobody has heard of. So I think for all of those reasons, this is definitely a good buy at 150 bucks. It's an even better buy at 127 bucks, but if you can spend a little bit more, you might find a device that's a little bit more reliable. With that, my name's Sean Ogle. I'm the founder of this thing here at Breaking 80, where we talk about cool golf products and cool golf courses. If you got some value out of this, do all the YouTube things, subscribe, thumbs up, comment, like all the stuff. If you're still not sure which device is right for you, we've got a 30-second quiz. So there is a link below. Go take our 30-second quiz. You're going to answer a few questions about your budget, what you're looking for, what features are important, and I'm going to make my best recommendation on the best rangefinder for you. And with that, I hope you have an excellent day. We'll see you on the next video. ShotScope, I'm sorry. Please don't hate me. I really am legitimately recommending the product. So, see ya. Peace. Bye. Go. I'm done.